In the vibrant city of Dhaka, a massive protest erupted against Sheikh Hasina, the long-serving Prime Minister of Bangladesh. After 15 years in power, her administration was increasingly accused of corruption and stifling dissent. Amid escalating tensions, a group of resolute activists broke through the security barriers surrounding her official residence, Gonobaban, determined to force her resignation and uncover the secrets they believed she was concealing. Earlier that year, a disturbing incident made headlines when a man was found naked and wandering the streets, with bloodshot eyes and two deep wounds on his chest. He was frantically shouting, "Hasina," repeatedly. This man had been missing for over 2 years, and his family had presumed him dead. Tragically, he passed away 2 hours after being discovered. His death was dismissed as insanity, and the wounds were attributed to self-harm, given the rampant issue of crystal meth abuse in the city, which had led to similar sightings. Sheikh Hasina's government was plagued by widespread corruption, drawing significant criticism from the international community. The country's education budget was alarmingly low, equivalent to the salaries of just 4 senators, highlighting the vast disparity in wealth distribution. This economic injustice fueled public outrage, especially among students, ultimately leading to protests that toppled her government. Hasina fled the country, fearing for her life as protesters advanced towards her residence. Once inside the presidential villa, protesters looted valuables and discovered hidden compartments, secret tunnels, forged bank statements, coded messages, personal diaries, and numerous documents labeled classified. Among the findings were 2 documents hidden in the personal safe under Hasina's bed, one titled Operation Blackbird and the other her personal diary. The diary revealed her daughter's struggle with a rare genetic disease requiring a pancreas transplant. In her desperation to save her daughter, Hasina sought solutions worldwide. Doctors informed her that the odds of finding a perfect genetic match were a mere 0.003%. A revered priestess offered hope by revealing the existence of a potential match in Bangladesh, though without disclosing gender. Determined to save her daughter, Hasina concocted a plan. She allegedly made crystal meth cheaper and more accessible to incapacitated users, facilitating the abduction for organ harvesting in search of a match. This explained the discovery of the naked man with chest wounds, repeatedly calling her name. These revelations, including the orchestrated distribution of drugs and illegal organ harvesting, infuriated the public as they vowed to bring Hasina to justice for the deaths of over 5,000 individuals. Rumors circulated that she was hiding in a monastery, and now, protesters armed with pitchforks were on their way to kill her and raise the monastery. The night was eerily silent as Sheikh Hasina huddled in the cold, dimly lit chamber of the remote monastery. The once powerful Prime Minister was now a shadow of her former self, her eyes hollow and filled with dread. She clutched a worn photograph of her daughter, the image crinkled and stained with tears. How far could a mother's love go? Far enough to plunge a nation into chaos, it seemed. Outside the monastery, the sounds of the approaching mob grew louder, their anger palpable. The protesters, torches in hand, were driven by a thirst for vengeance. They chanted her name, the syllables turned into a menacing horror, echoing through the night. The leader of the group, a young man whose brother was among the victims of the drug scandal, led them with a fierce determination. "Justice for our loved ones," he cried, and the crowd roared in agreement. Inside, Hasina's heart pounded. She knew there was no escape. The monastery's monks, once her protectors, had abandoned her, unwilling to risk their lives for a fallen leader. The walls that had once seemed like a fortress now felt like a tomb. As the mob broke through the monastery gates, the air filled with the acrid smell of burning wood. The leader of the group, his eyes blazing with rage, stormed into the chamber where Hasina knelt. "Your time has come," he snarled, grabbing her by the arm and dragging her to the courtyard. The crowd circled her, their faces twisted with hatred. They hurled insults and accusations, their words cutting deeper than any blade. Hasina stood there, her body shaking, but her mind oddly calm. She had known this moment would come, had accepted it as the price of her decisions. Suddenly, a chilly wind swept through the courtyard, extinguishing the torches and plunging the area into darkness. The mob fell silent, their rage momentarily replaced by unease. From the shadows, a low guttural whisper echoed through the monastery grounds. "She must pay the price." The temperature dropped rapidly and the air grew thick with another worldly presence. The leader of the group looked around, his bravado faltering. "Who's there?" he demanded, his voice wavering. Out of the darkness, figures began to emerge. Gaunt, spectral shapes with hollow eyes and gaping wounds on their chests. They were the spirits of the abducted, those who had perished in Hasina's twisted quest. Their voices joined together in a haunting chorus.
Hasina, Hasina.
The mob recoiled in terror as the ghostly figures advanced. The leader dropped his pitchfork, his face pale with fear. "What is this?" he whispered, backing away. The spirits converged on Hasina, their cold, ethereal hands reaching for her. She screamed, a sound of pure, unadulterated terror. "No! I did it for my daughter! Please, no!" The leader and the mob watched with horror as the spirits dragged Hasina into the shadows. Her screams echoing through the night. The air filled with a bone-chilling cold, and then, as suddenly as they appeared, the spirits and Hasina vanished, leaving only an eerie silence. The mob stood in stunned silence, their anger replaced by fear and disbelief. The leader finally spoke, his voice trembling. "We need to leave this place. Now!" The protesters fled the monastery, their torches flickering as they disappeared into the night. The monastery, once a place of refuge, now stood as a dark, haunted reminder of the depths to which a mother's love could sink. In the days that followed, rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the monastery was cursed, haunted by the spirits of the victims. Others claimed that Sheikh Hasina's ghost roamed the grounds, forever seeking redemption for her sins. But one thing was certain: no one dared to return to that place of horror, where the line between love and madness had been irrevocably crossed. Months later, a brave young journalist named Amina decided to investigate the haunted monastery. Driven by curiosity and a desire to uncover the truth, she ventured into the forsaken grounds, armed with a flashlight and a recorder. As she approached the monastery, an unnatural silence enveloped her. The air was thick with an oppressive stillness, as if the very land held its breath. Amina's heart pounded in her chest, but she pressed on, determined to face whatever horrors lay within. Inside the monastery, the air was frigid and shadows danced along the walls. Amina's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shapes that seemed to move off their own accord. She could feel eyes watching her, unseen but unmistakable. As she delved deeper, she found the courtyard where the final confrontation had taken place. The ground was stained dark, as if the earth itself had absorbed the pain and suffering of that night. A cold wind whispered through the air, carrying faint echoes of the past. Suddenly, Amina felt a presence behind her. She turned slowly, her flashlight illuminating a figure standing in the shadows. It was Sheikh Hasina, or rather, what remained of her. Her eyes were hollow, her face gaunt and haunted. She reached out, her voice a raspy whisper. "Help me!" Amina's blood ran cold. She took a step back, but the ghostly figure advanced, her desperation palpable. "I did it for my daughter," Hasina's ghost pleaded. "Save her!" Before Amina could react, a chorus of voices filled the air. The spirits of the abducted emerged from the shadows, their eyes empty and accusing. They surrounded Hasina's ghost, their ethereal hands pulling her back into the darkness.
"You must pay,"
they intoned, their voices a chilling symphony of sorrow and rage. Amina fled the monastery, her heart pounding with terror. As she reached the safety of the outside wall, she could still hear the voices of the ghostly voices. The truth was more horrifying than she had ever imagined. The line between love and madness had indeed been crossed, and the price was eternal torment. The monastery remained a place of horror, a grim reminder of the depths of desperation and the haunting legacy of a mother's deadly love.
"There is nothing we can't make scary."